Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. So as you can see on this fence line, we've got it mowed. We've got it mowed 20 feet wide. The reason we're doing that is we want to protect the fence line from fire. And from fire, I mean prescribed fire. We plan on burning this property in the spring at a certain time of the year that's gonna promote the growth of the warm season tall prairie grasses that we have here. Big blue stem, some little blue stem, and the tall native species that we have here. And it will, at that certain time of year, it will set back the cool season grasses and some of the invasive grasses that we have here. And most of the invasive grass species are cool season grasses because historically ranchers have planted those or people have planted those because they green up earlier and you get more benefit from livestock. I'm not too concerned about that on my property. I want to promote the native grass species because I really think it's a benefit to the ecosystem to have those thrive. And so we plan on a spring burn that's going to, at that time of year, what that spring burn will do will help the tall native grass species, warm season grass species thrive, and it will set back the invasive cool season species. That's a huge topic, and the whole concept of prescribed fire and no prescribed fire and the benefits of fire. I know a lot about that, but that's a pretty big animal, and we're not going to cover that in this video. I just want to let you guys know that this is what we plan on doing. And so to prepare for that, we have to do some things this fall to help prepare the fire breaks that we're going to need for the property and to help protect some of the trees we have on the property, because we don't necessarily want those to burn up by accident. And so follow me along today. We're going to be mowing some more control lines basically, and then we're going to be doing a little weed eating, and we're going to be doing trimming some pine trees to kind of help protect them for the spring burn. And then come this spring we're going to film that burn and you'll get to see that, so that'll be pretty cool. So let's get to work. Okay, I just want to show you the contrast between the cool season invasives that we have on the property. There's not a lot of them, but there are some here. And then the tall native prairie grass. This is big blue stem. It's cured out for the season now, and you can see it gets a really pretty red color in the fall, and most warm season native species do that. And so you can see the contrast. We want to preserve these native species because they're on the decline, and the burn is going to help make these tall native grass species thrive, and it's going to set back these cool season invasives and some of these weeds that we have growing here. It'll set back those weed seed beds and so forth. So that's what we're trying to do, and this is the type of grass that we're trying to promote. going to trim up some trees. We're going to use the old Silky. We're kind of close to Zippy where he's grazing right now, and you know, Zippy's a little cranky in his old age and he doesn't like the sound of a chainsaw very well, so that's alright. This will work just fine. We just got to trim up a few branches just to get the trees up off the ground just a little bit more. Okay everyone, well, you kind of got to see what we did today as far as dealing with preparation for the springtime prescribed fire. What this will also do is help minimize the intensity of a wildland fire on this piece of property in the grass stand after we burn it for 1 to 2 years probably. It's not going to really minimize the risk of wildland fire because grass is grass, and when it cures out it burns readily. But by reducing the buildup of thatched layers on this landscape and reducing the buildup of fuel, basically, the intensity of the fire, say next summer, if we do happen to get one after we burn it, it's going to be much, much less than if we would not have burned it. And so that's another benefit. And you saw me go around. I limbed up some trees that I did want fire to get directly up to the base of the trees, and so we limbed them up to about 10 feet to minimize the risk of those trees torching. And we also saw me remove the fuel out from underneath some of the big trees with low-hanging branches that I want to keep that way. I don't really want to limb them up, and so I reduced the fuel load underneath them. There's still a risk that those lower branches could torch, but that's just the risk you take. And so I think with mowing it as short as I did, you know, by the time it's, you know, these mow lines and the mow areas and the areas that we're hitting with the weed eater, next spring the cool season grasses will be coming in before the warm seasons, and so they're going to be pretty green. So all these mow lines that we did along the fence lines and around the trees and so forth are all going to be pretty green, so they're a pretty good fuel break. And so getting fire to actually carry through the mow lines is going to be pretty tough. And so the areas that I cut down underneath those trees, the risk of torching those trees is pretty minimal. It's just some of the other things we do around here. I thought I'd take you along and kind of show you some of the other stuff we got going. We will film the spring burn. It should be a pretty fun event, and it should be pretty interesting to see, and it should be a lot of fun. Next time, you know, we'll be back in the barn getting that wood stove hooked up. I'm still working on that, but this is something that kind of needs to be done as well. These nice days are kind of hit and miss for some reason this fall, and so we're trying to catch up on some things when we can. But next time we should be able to get that wood stove installed and the chimney installed. Had to do some decipher on exactly where I want it, but I actually do think I'm going to put it in the corner, just on the other side, not where the window is. And I'll offset the chimney on the inside and punch it out the wall close enough to the peak of the gable as it goes up the wall to where I don't have to put an exterior brace on the roof to support the chimney. And I still am going to leave enough clearance for the forge chimney because it's going to go up pretty much right at the peak. So there's going to be 2 chimneys sticking out of this barn in the back. I don't know how that'll look, but we'll see. I guess we'll see once we get them up. But in any event, smash that like button if you kind of like what we're doing around here, and Facebook and Instagram as always. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate your time. I always say that I do, and I really, really do. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. And we'll see you next time.